My name is Kyle Lyon. I'm a systems architect here at Solutions PT. And in today's episode of Tech Bytes, we're going over a question that we often get asked when we're helping customers get started with AVEVA Insight, which is how do I restrict what certain users can see? Now, this is usually to generally just reduce clutter for users by only giving them access to data streams that are relevant to them, but it can also apply to customers with massive solutions that cover multi site installations. So we want to just restrict users to only be able to see data relating to their particular site or their silo on that site. So to start with, we need to understand what assets are. Now in the Insight help files, which details all about how to do this, the terms asset and location are used interchangeably because an asset in Insight doesn't have to equate to a single piece of equipment. It can be a building, it can be a line, a production line within that building, it can be a full site, it can be a multi-site, it can be whatever you want to define it as, really. Anything you want to make a location, you can do. Now, there is a page in Insight which is great for explaining this, which is what we're going to go over today. So if you ever want to come back and do a refresher on it, it's available within here, and you can find that under Administer AVEVA Insight, Set Security by Location, and define locations for your team and data. There'll also be a link to it in the description down below. And to make things easier as well, there's a visual description here that shows the breakdown of a company. So I've worked up a quick visual aid based on that to help us through understanding asset locations and assignments. So if we visualize the company SnacksBoxCorp here, you can see that they have two sites, one in Los Angeles and one in Miami. Those individual sites then break down into departments. So Los Angeles has manufacturing and shipping, while Miami also has manufacturing and shipping, but also includes a customer service department. Beneath those departments, then, we've got individual cells which can relate to pieces of equipment. There can be particular divisions within that department, anything you want it to be. But this is going to be what we use for describing this. So if we wanted to set it such that our users could only view data relating to the manufacturing department of the Los Angeles site, we would assign our users the path at the top there. So SnacksBoxCorp/Los Angeles/manufacturing. And that would give them access to the manufacturing department and all children of that asset. So in this case, parts 4, 5, and 6. So if we change the use case now and we want to give a user complete access to all data within the Miami site specifically, we can assign them the location SnacksBoxCorp/Miami. And again, they'll get access to that asset and all the children assets underneath. So that goes down to the departments and down to the individual cells. If we want to really restrict a user to a very particular data set, in this example here, under the shipping department in the Miami site, we just want to limit them to the item set B. We assign them the path SnacksBoxCorp/Miami/shipping/set B. So that's a way in how we can structure our assets within Insight to be able to allow this kind of user segregation. So to illustrate that again, if I come into the Solutions PT AVEVA Insight instance, this is a sandbox that we use for demos and new product introduction and trials and things like that. We actually lay out our assets according to a top level asset with our individual names, and then we make children underneath that. And that's the example that you're going to see when we jump into the actual user assignment here. I'm going to be able to assign myself to only view the data that's related to my asset tree. So next, we need to understand how users are managed in Insight. So user configuration and management is part of AVEVA Connect, which if you haven't heard is the umbrella platform for all of AVEVA's cloud portfolio. In here, you can manage all your cloud assets and set up advanced security for your users for any individual piece of the portfolio. Naturally, you'll need to be an administrator in AVEVA Connect in order to manage these users. But creating users is very simple. All you need to do is log into your AVEVA Connect account and select User Management. Here you'll find a list of users, and adding new users is really, really simple. You just enter a name for that user and an email address. Or you can bulk import a set of users through the import utility. So once we've got our users created, as we have here, we then want to look into groups, which is a logical way of grouping together different types of users in Connect. So by default, we'll have some groups already created. So things like administrators, users, and if you have other items in the cloud portfolio like Integration Studio, you'll have those groups as well. So we're going to create a group here, and we'll just call this test group. And provide a description of what the group is. So in this case, it's going to be a demo for showing insight permissions. And we can assign users to that group. I'm going to leave that blank for now, but obviously you would just start typing in your names of users here and it would bring them up for you. Next, we go into the roles tab and we want to assign roles, which are basically ways of setting a set of permissions that we can apply to those groups that we've created to distribute that level of access. So we can select assign role here. Now there's two options here. There's service role and account role. Now, as we mentioned before, AVEVA Connect is the umbrella platform for all of AVEVA's cloud offering. So if we were to select an account role here, we'd actually be managing our AVEVA Connect user. But in this instance, we're looking to tie security into a particular service here, which is Insight. Here we can select the particular folder that we're looking at. So if you as a AVEVA Connect user have access to multiple Insight solutions that you're administering, you'd be able to select there. In our case, we just have the one here. We can select what type of role within Insight that user has. So we're going to keep it simple here and just select that as a user. And then you'll see that this box called asset name appears. In here is where we start selecting those trees that we discussed before, the SnacksBoxCorp example, or if I start typing in my own name here, you can see that it will narrow down to my assets. So if I wanted to restrict myself to only be able to see the assets under my hierarchy, I could set it like that. Do also note that you can have multiple trees in here. So if you wanted to assign people the ability to view data from one location and another example cell on another location, you can do that. But if you want to just handle it in one broad brushstroke, you use the hierarchical view. Now we assign the AVEVA Connect group that we want to tie that to. So in that case, it would be our test group there. So you can see here that I can very easily start rolling these permissions out to multiple groups. And that makes it really easy to be able to distribute access to lots of users at once. And if there are users that aren't parts of these groups, we can enter them individually here as well. If we don't want to add them to a particular group for any reason, we can specify them individually. And that's a quick look at assets, hierarchies, and locations within AVEVA Insight, and how easy it is to assign users to them, to restrict what data streams they have access and visibility of. As I mentioned, there'll be links below to the relevant sections of the help files in Insight to help you if you ever need a refresher there, or I've given you the path to be able to search for them yourself and many other tutorials within there that will help you on your journey. Thank you for watching, and as always, if you're interested in understanding how AVEVA Insight can benefit your business, please feel free to get in touch with us at Solutions PT, and we'll be happy to help.